So we actually finished with a Docker series, and we are going to start with AWS, right? So in this AWS series, we'll learn AWS from scratch, as the same way how we have learned Docker from scratch, right? So this will be a full series video where I'll be giving you hands-on plus theory and all, so that it would be easier for both of us to learn the AWS, right? So the prerequisites of this video is basically you should know about basics of coding and all, and yeah, if you are completely a beginner to this, then it's okay. And what I'll suggest you is that please check out the Docker series that I have created before jumping to this AWS video, right? So without wasting much more time, let's get started with AWS, right? So AWS basically stands for Amazon Web Services. This is the web services from Amazon, right? So you can say that AWS is just other people's computer, right? So like traditionally how the thing used to be, like when you are creating your own startup or own company or your own product, most of the time you were the person who used to build the servers by creating uh, by stacking the blades of servers um, onto the rack, right? That used to consume first of all your space, second the electricity, and third, if there was any kind of issues like electricity issue or any kind of maintenance, you need to do all these things, right? Like right from installing till networking, maintaining cables and all, electricity and all, that used to create confusion as well as difficulties to manage those servers. So AWS basically solves that problem, right? So you can say that you are using someone's computer on rent, and you are hosting your project or you are hosting your product on that computer, right? So you basically pay for compute, basically means servers, for storage, networking, and managed services, right? So AWS provides you these features. Now the core AWS pillars that we are going to learn or we must learn, so these are going to be in orders, which will be like EC2, which is the virtual server. EC2 basically stands for Elastic Compute Cloud, and why it is known as Elastic Compute Cloud, we'll see to it um, in next video. And these are the security groups, basically means firewall. So as we know that firewall, the main purpose of it is to block some IP addresses or allow IP addresses, right? Same as that the security groups are there. IAM basically means identity and access management. So in today's video we'll be looking into this IAM, right? After that, the storage, which is EBS and S3. These are the storages in AWS. We'll also look about S3 in the further videos, upcoming videos, right? And this networking, basically the VPC basics, which is virtual private cloud. Like everything else builds on top of these five pillars, right? So let's get started. First one is AWS account basics, and the console tool. Basically you need to log on to the AWS console. So before you are um, logging into the AWS, you need to create the account where it will take your details like credit card details, bank account and all, your address, your basic information. It's pretty much easy to fill the details and to get this account, right? Also you need to give your UPI ID or card ID, so that the credits will be uh, credits will be credited in your account, right? So once all the things are verified, you are allowed to use this AWS console for the further services, right? So after that, once you log into the AWS console, in the top right of the AWS console, there you need to choose the regions. So think it in this way that AWS servers are the real servers that are present in these regions, right? So when you will click on this button where it says Asia Pacific Mumbai, and here you can see the regions that are available where there are actual AWS servers that are physically present in these regions. And I'll suggest you to choose the nearest region. For me it's Mumbai, because I'm in Maharashtra, India, and that's the reason I'm choosing this Mumbai, because the latency, there will be low latency issues, and it also affects for the cost as well, right? So nearer the server, there will be less cost according to the AWS, right? So AWS has only one, like basically basically the server in Mumbai, like the present current which is present in Mumbai, and they are planning to launch it in Hyderabad as well, which is in planning stage, and currently it's in Mumbai. So I'll suggest you to click on this Mumbai, and once you select it, the region will appear over here, right? After that, this is done. Now we'll start with IAM, which is very important. Basically IAM basically stands for identity and access management. So what it basically means that IAM, which basically means that who can do what. Means, see, there is a root user, and the root user has all the permissions, right? Now for example, if I own a startup or if I own a company, and there are few employees that are working on let's say reliability engineers, right? Security and reliability engineers that basically does the DevOps work and all, and I want to share the access with them as well. Being a owner, or being a let's say owner of startup or anything, or CEO, I don't want to give the root access to anyone, right? You will not be you will not give root access to anyone, right? So this IAM basically what it does is that it basically gives particular rights, uh, let's say particular rights to the another employees to work with this console, but they have limited rights, right? So being a root user, I have all the rights to do whatever thing I want to do, right? Because I am the root user. I don't want to give the same privileges to my employees. So for that reason, I'll create the users where I'll give them specific right that are needed for them, and they'll start working on it, right? So being a root user, it's basically dangerous, and IAM user, it's safe, because IAM user has some of the rights, but root users, as I said, that it has all the rights. So once your root user or root credentials are leaked with anyone, what they can do is that they can create hundreds of EC2 instance, which is virtual servers. They can create hundred of virtual servers, and more in most of the cases what they do is that they use these 100 servers to mine cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., which might end up in bills up to lakhs and sometimes crores, if we think, right? So we don't want the root credentials to be leaked, or we don't want to give root access to anyone. For that reason, we use this IAM, that is identity and access management, right? So now what we will going to do is that we will create an IAM user that will have the permissions of administrator access. I'll explain you what this actually means, right? So what we're going to do is that we'll basically go to IAM, we'll create user, we'll name that user. Access type will be AWS management console, where he will be given access to this AWS management console, and the permissions will be this administrator access. Now what this administrator access actually means. So this administrator access is, you can say it's equivalent to the root user, but here the all the track of this IAM user is maintained, and the root user can actually uh, limit the use of the resources for this IAM user, so that the more resource is not being used or not being misused, right? So being an administrator access, it basically means that you can use the resources but in limited manner. You have specific rights that may not violate any kind of malpractices or misconducts during the stages of production or creation. Also there's one thing that if you are the root user and you by mistakenly terminate the EC2, that is the virtual server, you terminate it by mistakenly, and termination basically means that the deletion of the server completely, like permanently, like your product is been running or the website is been running on that server, and you have terminated that by mistake, and being the root user you have no chance to revoke that thing. But if you are IAM user and you basically terminated that thing, the root user can actually revoke that thing, so that there will be less chances of like causing any issues, right? So that's the reason IAM user is basically safe and root user is dangerous. So once we create the user, we'll log out, and uh, from this video onwards we'll basically use IAM user only, right? Will not work with root user because that's unsafe, and that's the malpractice considered in startups and companies. So always create an IAM user with limited access to the resources, and try to work with that IAM user, right? So once you understood this administrator access and all, we'll head to this console screen. So this is the screen. Here are all the information that you will find, that this is the credits that you'll have. So when you log in, the credits that you will have is 100, and here you can see once you complete these 5 things, these credits will be given to you as a rewards. Once you complete all these stages, so as in Docker video I completed this stage, like launching an instance using EC2, and I got the reward of $20. So this in total makes up to 100 US dollars. So if you think in that way, you get a 200 US dollars as a credit, so which is a good thing for a year. These credits are more than enough if you are learning AWS, right? So this is the thing. Now let's go to the search bar, and I want you to type IAM. Click on search this, and this will appear in front of your screen. So click on this IAM and wait for few seconds until it's open. Once it's open, and you can this is the dashboard you can see, and like as of now we have no user created, so the user groups and user is 0, right? So I want you to click on these users, as we want to create a new user, and here click on create user, and I want you to give the name of the user is dev user, or anything you want, name the user whatever you want. So here we'll give dev user, and here check this, that is provide user access to AWS management console, means this, right? And the password will auto generate, right? And or I'll basically create my custom password. I don't want to auto generate anything, so I'll basically create a password. Just a second. So I have created the password and I'll click on next, and here this is the setting permissions to the user. So what kind of permissions that the user will have. So we'll click on attach policies directly, and here you will see the number of properties. So there are in total 1442 policies that can be attached to the IAM user, like what he has or what right he has to do, right? So here I'll click on the administrator access, this one, administrator access for learning basically. Okay, so I'll click on this administrator access, right? And once you click on this administrator access, as I said that it's equivalent to root, but here the root user can manage all the things, right, of that IAM user. So there is nothing to worry about it, right? So now click on the next, and once it's done, here you need to review following things. Here what kind of permissions it has. It can change the password, and password means IAM user's password, not the root password, and it has administrator access, right? And once that's done, create user, click on create user, and it's basically creating the user. And here as you can see that the user is created. Now click on return to users list, click on continue, and here you can see the user. You can also delete that user as you want, because you have the root access. Now let's do one thing, copy this account ID and let's sign out and click on sign into console. And paste this account ID over here and the username that you have given, and let's enter the password. And click on sign in. Once you sign in, you are inside the IAM console that basically given to it, right? So it says that it requires reset. So once you log in, it will give you this same window that will ask for the password reset, whether you give the custom password or whether the password is auto generated. Okay, so for that you need to put the old password and you need to give new password over here. Right, and click on confirm password change. Click on confirm password change and click on continue to sign in. And once you are signed in, here you can see the name of the IAM user, which is dev user, right? and this is the regions. You need to select Mumbai, AP South one, right? So this was it for today's video. We have created the IAM user, and from henceforth will use this same IAM user, right? Because as we know that the reason why I'm not using root user over here, right? So henceforth we'll continue with IAM user in our further videos. So as we learned about IAM user, what is AWS, why we use it and all, right? So in the further video we'll start with EC2 and we'll continue this series. So this was it from my side. Do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in next video. Till then, happy coding. Bye bye.